Good afternoon, book lovers of the internet. Welcome back to my channel. I am BookNerd802, and in this video, I am going to be speaking about days 8 and 9 of my teaching practice experience. However, before I begin, I want to let you know about some books I bought yesterday from Merlin Publishers. They had a warehouse sale, and my mother very kindly took me there. She drove me to the place. I managed to buy 6 comic books called Mibdul. The series is called Mibdul by Theodore Reliek, I think, and Ines Christina. So this is what they look like. There are 6 volumes so far, and from €5 I had them each for €1, so I paid €6 for the whole collection. These ones are in English, by the way. The title is, however, in Maltese, and I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I am very intrigued by the way they look. I am kind of reminded of Saga by Brian Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I reviewed a couple of those on the channel a few months ago, and I plan on continuing that series soon too. Anyway, those are what those 6 comics look like, and I also bought this one called Ittilet Amar by John A. Bonello. Now what's interesting about this is that it doesn't have a dust jacket, which is removable, but it gives you the impression that it has a dust jacket anyway. And I haven't really seen many of these books, if any, and I think that's a very special thing. And I managed to buy this one for €2 only. My father has the very first edition, which is hardback and totally black, and I bought this one because I wanted to complete the collection to have all of the books in the trilogy match each other. But yeah, those were the 7 books I bought yesterday, and let's move on with the video. I am very happy that the second week has already passed too. Now I have 3 more weeks to go, and honestly, Thursday and Friday were good days because the examiners didn't show up, so I could teach with a certain sense of flair and enthusiasm, which I can't usually use whenever the examiners are around, and the students really enjoyed that change in character, as far as I know. On Thursday, I taught 2 literature lessons with the grade 8 students. I completed a poem with one of them, the Alien Elegy one by Mike Johnson, and I even assigned some homework, which I am not yet in the habit of doing often, nor do I think I will try to form a habit of giving too much homework. I don't think it really helps students completely comprehend what needs to be done. So yeah, the lessons on Thursday and Friday overall ran smoothly, apart from one on Friday where I walked into class and I basically was told that what I set out to do had already been done during a free lesson, so what I did was all done for no reason. I had to adapt the lesson plan right there and then, and it was quite a lot of work, but I think the lesson ran smoothly regardless. There were several more distractions than anticipated since all the work I was going to assign had already been finished, but to teach them prefixes I still managed to come up with several exercises which I suppose could help them contextualize the value of prefixes in words and how they can alter the meaning of a word. What I was very surprised to see was when one of my students asked me if I have a YouTube channel, and I can't tell a lie as a person, so I told him that I do, and he straight away discovered me on the platform, and he told all his friends about the channel, and now some of them are even watching my live streams, which is quite flattering, but pretty strange as well, since I am still getting to know these people, and I want them to take me seriously. I hope this channel doesn't um, work towards them thinking that the language shouldn't be taken seriously, and I hope that they watch a couple of my videos which they can enjoy and learn something from. But that was probably the highlight of my week when people were telling me that I am quite a chill guy, basically, that I have a YouTube channel which I make frequent use of, and they also told a friend of mine that they found me on YouTube and that I am their student teacher, and they had nothing negative to say about me, which was something that made me quite happy as well. It really brightened my day, considering that I had a visit on Tuesday, I believe, which almost completely discouraged me from wanting to continue teaching, but such comments towards the end of the week really helped soothe me, make me feel more comfortable with what I am doing. And honestly, it's the paperwork that's the problem, as far as I know. The teaching itself isn't particularly flawed. It's the schemes of work and the lesson plans which do not perfectly tie in with the lesson, and that is something that I have to work upon in order to pass during my next examinations because it hasn't been going very well in that regard. One of my favorite lessons I think I've taught in these 2 weeks was on Friday when I taught the students all about a biography. I even took this book with me by David Goggins called Never Finished to show them what a biography is. I taught them the concept of a ghostwriter, told them all about autobiographies and biopics as well, and those were terms which they didn't particularly know. I managed to conduct a hangman exercise with them as well to teach them the phrase background information or background knowledge about a person. Um, so I think that lesson went very well. Towards the end, they were even recommending some music, which we listened together while I gave them some time to come up with a plan for the writing task. And honestly, it was one of the most chill lessons I think I've had in a while, and I feel as though it was quite productive as well because the students all understood what they had to do, they all understood the pattern of a biography. This is one of the longer writing tasks, so they have 5 paragraphs to write, and they are allowed to pick a teacher of their choice to write about. I gave them the permission to even write about a fictional character since it can be quite challenging to find information about the early life of the teachers they know and love, and some of them even told me that they would pick me for this writing task, which was once again quite flattering but strange at the same time. That was probably one of the best lessons I've had with them so far. I really enjoyed that language lesson. So I think that the resources I used were useful and adequate. I even made my own PowerPoint from scratch for the very first time, and used it as a resource. It worked quite well. And during the first exercise with them, I chose some controversial figures on purpose. I mean, the idea behind that was to keep them on their toes, but my mentor didn't like that idea so much, so I had to change a couple of the characters. Um, because one of the characters was Andrew Tate, Top G. I gave them information about these characters or these people, and they had to guess who I was trying to talk about in order to understand the purpose of a biography. And they enjoyed that activity quite a lot. I would definitely do it again if I am ever given the chance to teach biography once more. I think it is a great way of introducing the topic. That was also a very, very fun activity, and using my own PowerPoint gave me more sense of autonomy when it comes to taking charge of a class. And I did not think the PowerPoint would help me so much whilst teaching this topic, but not only was it very useful, the students seemed to be quite entertained by the work I put into it as well, so I can't really complain. I feel as though I gave very clear instructions, so the students were all on board with what I was saying, and they seemed to enjoy the topic. They didn't even complain about having to write 300 words in a week. I mean, I have to write 300 words about 3 of them every week anyway, and that's just a fraction of all the work I have to do. But they weren't complaining about it, and they all seemed to be happy to be given an opportunity to pick any one of their choice as long as it's a teacher they admire to write about. So, once again, I can maintain that that was one of the most fun lessons and one of the more successful ones I've ever taught. I have a very pleasant way in class, if I do say so myself, and I'm not in the habit of raising my voice to grab the students' attention, so whenever they start to misbehave, I usually wait for a couple of seconds, not say anything, stare at the troublemakers just to let them know that it's time to get back to work, and then continue with the lesson accordingly. So I think in terms of classroom management, I am improving as well, and I can't really complain about my students. I'm very happy to have the audiences I do, and I can match their energy quite well. I feel as though they understand me and I can understand them because there isn't such a massive gap in our respective ages. So there is a very good sense of relatability there, which makes language learning much more accessible and authentic. But I think that is all I had to say about days 8 and 9 of my teaching practice experience. Wednesday was a public holiday, so I didn't make a video about that because I didn't teach anything on Wednesday since I didn't go into school. Yeah, that is all I had to say about days 8 and 9. I've been writing daily reflections as well, which I am using as scripts. They do come in handy. And yeah, I hope that the final 3 weeks go by as smoothly, save for the exams, as the first 2 weeks have. In fact, I hope they go by in a much smoother fashion. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I'll see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.